fancy. So it says that we're recording in progress. I'm not too sure why my camera isn't working, but that's beautiful technology for you. So since we only have 30 minutes tonight, I thought we could streamline it to kind of what is going on with you and going on with me. I know that I just got back from the People's Convoy, and we went down to we went on the interstate here as people went from Erie down to the People's Convoy. So we had a little flags there. We met somebody, and then we went and we caravan down with them to the main one that was coming across 70 on Washington, PA. And just meeting so many different people of all walks of life from all over the place, from California, Minnesota, Florida, you name it. There were so many different people there. And it was beautiful to be around people who were standing finally in their sovereignty, you know, and it's whether they got the jab or do or whether they didn't, it didn't matter. They were just standing up for sovereignty, and they realized, what happened, and they were, um, they just decided that this is enough. And a lot of people were at that point where this is enough. We met a school teacher who was talking about the indoctrination of the schools and how they're pushing the agenda through. And he was even in a Christian school that he taught at, and he talked about that. Um, so what I chose to do was, instead of like, the F Joe Biden thing or anything like that, I am more focused on unity, sovereignty, and coming together in love. And just was talking about that, going up and hugging people and, just chatting them up to, and, there's some education that was going on, with the deeper stuff. Because some people, of course, had no clue how deep stuff went.
Right. They think it's Biden. He's a head puppet.
Yeah.
He has no control of any of this.
Right. So it was really neat. We're all different levels of consciousness, all standing there, all different levels of education to consciousness to degrees of where everybody stood, but we all were there in unity for supporting everybody else that wanted to take this trip, that wanted to be a part of history of people finally standing up for themselves. And it was really the energy that was so amazing. I felt like a little kid again. And it was really like a hopeful kind of atmosphere when they were rolling through, and you could, the people, it was slow. Some of it was a little fast, depending on how fast people were going. But people were like out their windows and were, thank you and we love you. And it was just a beautiful sight to see. And like all the overpasses had people and flags, and the sides of the roads, people have that. Some people in the middle of like the median between both I-70, they're in the middle, then I cross the highway to get to the middle holding flags. There you go. But after that, it was just like observing everybody, and it was observing where everybody was, and the whole, all the different layers of consciousness. And then the boys asked to go to round one. David Buster's afterwards, and it was very noisy and very distracting. And we met a friend there that they play online with, and even all the different levels of consciousness that was at that place as well, because you could see it from where people had their face covered, and most of them did not, which was nice to see, to look people in the eye and smile. But people were still used to keeping their head down and not talking to anybody. And that's where I'm like, nope. I just would smile at everybody and say hi, and just be that love. And even today, the boys and I went outside to play, and it was nice and sunny here, and we decided to go outside and play. Went played baseball and kickball. Well, I'm feeling it now, but
But
yeah, and but we went outside and played. Then we went just to Sheets afterwards to get like a tea and some water and stuff. And saying hi to people, they're just not used to it anymore. And there was this cute little vet there. He's, oh my gosh, 80 some years old, had his little vet hat on. And Brady, thank you for your service. And he said, well, I used to fly, helicopters. And then he came over to me. I said, well, thank you, sir. And then we sat there for 5 minutes and talked about him being in the military and me looking him in the eye and seeing the soul in him and him looking me in the eye and seeing my soul and just talking and him sharing his story, and just being in somebody's presence and honoring them in that presence. It just
yeah,
rolled me up.
people have
Like,
been isolated for too long. They've been
yeah,
isolated way too much.
yes. And so I'm making it a point. I always like say hi or higher or anything like that, or just look them in the eye and smile, even when all this stuff was going on. But
Mhm.
now it's even more of a point where I want to do that. I want to make, even if it's just for a brief second, make that connection and to have that smile, and uh, because that energy goes right into their being. It may be uncomfortable for them, but I plan to see that you're worth being smiled at, you're worth it being talked to, being looked at, being seen. You're worth it. And how many times have we gone through life where we didn't feel that way? And even just the smallest little ways of kindness, holding a door to say please or thank you, or uh, just just a smile, just look somebody in the eye. It's so monumental, especially now, because everybody's so freaking scared still. They're all fearful about this whole BS stuff that's going on. And the next story.
Yeah, the next Hollywood grand story.
Yes, yes. Just to find that connection with somebody. And I don't know if you listen, there's this guy, Phil Good. Um,
Yeah,
he was on today, and really what he said, it was just like a brief minute. He was talking about relationships too, and how, because this has been what I've been experiencing over the last 2 years, especially that people are not able to meet you where you're at, and there's a lot of ego at play. There's a lot of ego, of course, within me still coming out, having to look at, being with, but to have that higher aspect of you trying to connect with them, to try to talk things out, to try to because there's so much miscommunication now. There's so much, everybody gets so bogged down in the BS, or their ego, putting up those walls, that why you're being able to talk to anybody, to say, no, I want to talk about this. Your relationship, our relationship is valid and important to me, to have that conversation, but knowing that not everybody's able to meet you there yet, and to just say, I love you, and maybe someday you will be. And that's what I'm always saying, like, especially even with my sister, maybe someday, um, someday with other friends that I haven't talked to in a long time too. Maybe someday, when all this BS is done, because everyone's being bombarded with this light. Everybody is seeing all this shit that's going to be coming out.
Oh, it's going to be hard on some people
It
when the
will be.
truth comes out, because they don't want to see it, because they bought it so hook, line, and sinker
Yeah.
that it's going to really take a hurt to their ego when the truth comes out too.
It is. They're going to go, how could I have fallen for this, or how can I, oh, Ben's in the waiting room. Okay. But how can I, how can I still love you? Of course, I'm always going to still love you no matter what, because you meant something to me. The relationship will always be there. That love will always be there. But when you are ready, and when you work through your stuff, I'll be here, loving you still. So it's I've been just experiencing that a lot within the last 2 years, within the last couple of weeks. It's been getting really, really intense, where it's just like, okay, I just love you. So I think Ben's he might be fixing. What?
Start streaming.
I didn't start streaming, no, but I'm recording it.
Yep, it says recording.
So yes, we're working out the kinks. But the camera works with the streaming, but just not with oh, there it goes.
There.
Hey, Betty Boops.
You need the kids for the technology.
I do. It's amazing. So hi everybody. But yeah, it's being that love no matter what. And then also, okay, now all of these kind of distractions of all this other BS is out of the way, to focus on me, to focus on creation. What am I going to create? What can I put all this energy that I am receiving from the universe, from my higher self, and how can I put that and streamline it to creation, to being in that now moment of that creative process, where I'm not planning like 6 years down the road, but I have a vision in my head, take one step at a time towards that and what to create. Because I know that you're creating with your shop down there, and then yet you're still open to what might come down the pike for you. I know that my stuff was totally wiped clean, so I can start something totally new. And
Mine was close. We had a big, deep discussion. Both of our egos were getting in the way. I almost backed out of the shop and said, it's yours. We had a major discussion. We're still working through our kinks. So we have a lot of stuff popping up for both of us.
Oh yeah. And that's what being in that kind of is helping you in such a way that it's bringing it up at a rapid pace, because that's what relationship does. It brings that up so quickly to look at, to clear, or you can sit there and stew in it, which luckily you have enough underneath your belt now to say, I know what's going on. But yeah, this is a prime time to either be focused on the distractions out there, or to say, hey, how can I create in this kind of, what do I want to create in my world? What do I want to create in this little hologram that I'm in? I am the master of this. Yeah, things are going to pop up that were old energy and that we have to clear. But what can we create? What can we focus on that's going to be something far more amazing than we could ever dream of? And that's,
I'm gonna change it to me so I can let people out.
oh, okay, thank you. All right, but yes, it's how can we create, and what do we want to create, and what are we being led to? What passions are popping up that we haven't felt in a long time, that that we're being led to look at again, because we haven't done that since we were kids, like actually follow what excites us, follow what brings life to us. Like even just playing with the kids today, it was so much fun, and just going out there and being a kid and dancing around the field and being silly, and it just lightens up your whole body, and you're moving your body, you're moving that old stagnant energy out. And yeah, am I gonna feel? I already feel it now. I'm gonna feel it more tomorrow, but it's exercising those muscles that I haven't done in a long time, just like exercising the creative muscles that we haven't done in a long time either.
I just wanted to say I love you.
I love you too, buddy. Thank you. Um, it's now we gotta take the focus off of the BS because we already know what's going on, and us choosing what to focus on, what to bed. What in the world is that? But God.
It's a sexy posing turnip or something.
Yes. Clifford the big red dog. But it is, it's being able to laugh and be silly and just what the
Now he's a
hell is
potato.
that? It's just like what in God's green earth. But it's having that fun and being silly and stupid and allowing yourself to be that, especially when everything around you is so dang serious. And so it helps having my boys. It really does.
Oh
Because
no, he's a Teletubby.
I know, Teletubbies, no, but it is. It's so much. They help me just be a kid again. To just have fun and not give a shit about the small stuff or even the big stuff. Even it's just like, okay, how can I face this with this new energy, with this energy that's coming in, this love that's coming in, this
Oh, there you go.
Oh my God, you look like a kid I went to high school with. Oh, there, Mike Wazowski. But it is. It's finding that balance and to be silly, to be to honor everybody, to see them as a soul and see what they're going through so you understand them. Ben, your eyes are really disproportionate to that hamster. Just saying. But oh God. Jeez, there you go. I sing and poo. But yeah, what can we do? What can we do to be silly, to have fun again, to look at Peppa Pig and to just laugh and be stupid?
I do to work. It gets so stressful there because we keep losing people and we're not replacing. I don't know if they don't want to hire or if nobody just wants to work, but there's nobody working anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're like so understaffed, and then we get stressed, and then I'll just start laughing about something. They probably think I'm nuts. I know they do, but
who cares anymore? That's where I'm at too. It's like I don't care. I don't care anymore. And I've really, that's why even Ben said, Mom, I love that you don't care. That you really don't care about this and that you don't get all bent out of shape and whacked out that, there's eyeballs in the middle or a flaming unicorn on my Zoom call, because it's just about having fun, being childlike, allowing that laughter to flow through you, donkey, because you need that.
I used to hate being on videos, like, and lately with my business, I'm on video and I'm acting so ridiculous. I don't care, because at least I'm like, hey, they know I'm human now.
Yeah.
If I do something stupid or I fumble words, I don't care. I leave it on there. I don't.
Yeah. Like this whole, you need editing. I was like, I don't care.
No, I don't.
I don't give two shits about that, because they see you're human. They see
Mhm.
that you have, you know, a child that
Oh, that's bad.
thinks this on, on, on your stuff, and you just don't care anymore because you just,
Uh,
that's what it's about. Who gives a shit anymore? And everything is so dang serious and
Serious.
serious. Um,
I'm Spider-Man.
I was also on a call this weekend, and it was about a lot of stepping into that power and having that bed and,
Sorry.
and having that there's new technologies coming out. There's a Trinity Biometis, and it's almost the size of like a cell phone, and you program in it um, for it to read kind of like the frequencies of your body, and it will actually have an output of different frequencies that you need to help balance out your body. And it's going to be coming out
okay.
in spring. And so then they have these frequencies that you can hit on it. Like number one will be, say, for the female body and helping balance out hormones or or your thyroid or whatever this may be.
Mhm.
And then you put it on there, and then they have like a case that you could put it around your neck like this, or you can put it in your pocket, and it will actually help the frequency level of your body. There's so much stuff coming out within this next year. It's going to be phenomenal. All for health.
My
All
tuning
for
forks do that with your chakras and everything too.
yes,
And like the
yes, and
singing bowls and
yes.
the what
This
is the
goes
other one?
goes deep
Binary beats,
into
stuff like
yeah.
that.
This takes it even to a different level of that, where it's kind of like reads your body, and where parts of you don't even think anything's going on. You're like, oh, well, I'm good here, but your thyroid's all out of whack. And it will tell you. And then there's also life pods that are going to be coming out. Um,
Like the
there's
med bed.
yeah, yeah, but there's actually going to be a little like ones that you just place on your head or on your feet. There's going to
Mm.
be all different ones that are going to be coming out, and then ones that you lay in, was so, just a phenomenal amount of different things. There's this product called the Roots brand, and it's about it's the best kind of remediation that we can have now for everything that's going on with the Jabber news and all the different kinds of. It kind of puts your body back into that balance, and they showed actually pictures of what your blood cells and what your cells look like after you take it, and it looks like a light exploding within your body. It's amazing. And um, and then it actually works on your gut as well, and it shows like this golden orbs that are in your gut as well. It's Christina Rom is her, Dr. Christina Rom, and she definitely is a being from another world, just like we are too. But she's put
Mhm.
on this earth. She went through all this stuff with. I mean, she was working for Pfizer and all those little places. But she came. She goes, "No, I'm stepping away from this, and this is so needed right now." And so she took her knowledge of biochemistry and actually put it to good. And it's a silica based um, formula that really helps align everything, helps bring all the energy back into balance, and also kind of almost reprograms what's actually going on with your body with all of this stuff and all of this stuff coming down and eating everything and all the crap that's coming in our system. It actually takes it and purges it, but it also brings it back online too. So it's like it's a three-part system. So I will um, get on next week or maybe during this week and talk about it because I have it downstairs and I can definitely tell a difference with using it just for a couple of days.
Is it like a powder or what?
There is drops there, and then there's a little pill that has like powder in it, and then there's like this pouch that you could put into like your smoothies, or you could just suck it up too. And so you work your way up, and it depends on how bad your body's been affected. Like with the jabber news and such, people would have to go real hardcore parkour on this to detox their bodies from all the crap that's in it. But it's the closest, is the best thing right now out there that can help with the remediation process of even just being shedded upon by us, us being shedded on. And so that's what this thing is really phenomenal, that you could really feel a difference. And the clarity of taking some of it is just your brain. I would have that brain fog when I get back home. I have this brain fog, and then when I take it, it's just like it'll be having me have this the ultimate focus, and but also being able to sleep at night like that, where I was having troubles with that. I would like have tons of melatonin and I wasn't touching it, where this stuff is balancing me out, where it's actually naturally producing in my body now, which it wasn't before. It's helped with my polyps. So I can't say enough about it. So I was going to actually do a thing later on this week about it, because it's just phenomenal. And I could actually send a link from the CEO with it. Yeah, you are me. We could actually send you a link to of the CEO talking about it, and his wife is the one who actually is the biochemist that made this up. And there's so much other
some of that activated charcoal because I want to get some of the toxins out.
Good. And this has it a lot of the same stuff in it. So it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But we are closing up on 7:30, so they might kick us off. But I thought we'd give Zoomies a chance.
Won't. I did something. Okay.
Oh, you did something?
I did something. So it's gonna go past.
A little longer.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Ben.
I started these too. This is helping. It's for your thyroid.
Oh, good.
It's got so many different herbs and stuff in it. And I started out just because I've been on my thyroid medicine for probably 20 years or more. So I'm doing an every other day thing, and then I'm gonna just drop my thyroid medicine altogether because I'm feeling pretty good. Like the brain fog, all that's going.
Good. So, now they're also going to be coming out.
Get rid of all the doctors. Bye-bye, doctors.
Yes, exactly. And that's how we become sovereign, is we step away from all that. And we're gonna learn how to take care of ourselves, and be our own doctors. And then at the end of the year, there's going to be a remedy coming out where you take it 5 times under your tongue in the morning and at night. And it has basically like the Roots brand, but that's a 3-step process. This is just going to be drops. This is going to probably be the same. She's trying to pinpoint it down to even something even simpler, where you just put 5 drops underneath your tongue twice a day. Boom. And instead of like the 3-step process, because it's not that hard. I put stuff in my smoothies all the time, and it really works well with that. So there's so much coming out. There's also in the works communities that are going to be self-sufficient with these biodomes, and actually remediating the air and the soil.
We need that so bad.
Yeah, it's just going to be, they're going to be all over the place. There's one that's going to be happening in Mexico, and I think they said Newfoundland. There's going to be probably one in Canada, maybe even one in the US.
Because they polluted our food and our air and everything so bad that you can't even do anything without having toxins.
Right. So they're talking about moving away from the cities, because that's where they're going to have like the smart cities. And that's where the people that have chosen to go the AI route are going to be there. And then we can migrate to these communities. And it actually has places where you'll have a house and acreage where you can grow your own food. And then you'll be in this biodomy kind of thing where the technology, and not only you can wear it, but it'll be placed there where it can actually make this whole like, hectares and hectares of land that will be all free of crap. Actually put like a shield over everything. But
As long as the government stays out of it, because right now
that's what
ruining the
it is.
weather and everything else and
Yes.
Hello?
destroying
And that's-
everything.
Hello?
And that's hi Brady. And that's basically
Cool.
what is going to be happening, is that there's going to be this bifurcation process, which we're already seeing now. And the ones who are connected to their soul and who are doing the things for
Just me.
themselves and will be coming online to do these things and going to these communities, living there in a community where we all bring our talents, our passions, and we want to help each other out, but yet still not be a cult either,
Do you know my talent? It's video games.
That's probably gonna be going away too. But anyway, so the thing is that it's gonna be very different, and it's where your soul, what your soul has chosen, what you have chosen to do. There's gonna be tons of choices ahead of us in the future, like going to McDonald's. No.
No.
Things like that are
Uh-huh.
Brady, everybody.
Sorry.
Thank you. It's just more focus on that. And then there's technology out there that can build a house from your consciousness and actually build the house with everything your consciousness is made of. And actually, the walls will be made of your consciousness, and your body as well will help form what you need as a house. Everything that your body requires will be in this house. I mean, this is where the tech is. They just haven't released it. But the good guys, or the ones who want to bring this tech out, will be bringing this tech out this year, because this is the year. And they're going to be bringing it out regardless of what the other stuff is happening, playing on the outside stage, because we know that that's all false. We know that that's not real. We know that, they're just actors playing the government, that really they don't have, without us believing it, they don't have shit. And so it's us choosing that we want to follow us, that we want to step into us, we want to be sovereign. There's going to be things coming out where we can even step away from the licenses, the mortgages, all that we step away from. We can just become sovereign beings. And there's actually a process of that I'm going to do a lot of research on and do it myself so that I can help other people do it too. Is you go through this process where you basically unwed yourself from the corruption that when you were born, you have a birth certificate. And that birth certificate binds you into a system where it's called like a straw man. You can do the research on all of this. And that his name is Russell J. Gould. And he does a lot of things with this, where he actually.
I've heard about that too. And like even when your rights to vote, tie you into being a part of the United States, and then they have, I don't know. He was
It's a
explaining it all. He's an
corporation.
attorney. Yeah.
It's a corporation, and the corporation is defunct, and it's actually bankrupt as well. And so he actually saved our flag because our flag was up in the bankruptcy, and he actually is now he has the flag, and he's postmaster general, president, I guess, of the U.S. And nobody really knows about this because of the theater that's going on out there. Because the news isn't going to tell you because they want you kept. But there's so many things that we could do, steps of how to become sovereign, not paying taxes into
Mhm.
the system, and to step away from doing that because you're paying for them to go to make wars, to have all these things that are
Mhm.
occurring. Taxpayers paid money for the Jeopardies, for the tests, for all this other stuff. It was all taxpayer money. And so to step away from funding that, then please. And so it's finding little ways to step away from that distraction, little ways that we every day say, how am I going to become more sovereign? What is my soul telling me? How am I acquiescing to this whole bullshit out there? And how can I honor my soul?
I'm hoping that since people are starting to realize and they're standing up against what's going on for the last 2 years, and they're starting to stand in their own sovereignty, I'm hoping that when the next thing comes down the pike, which is like overseas, they're trying to start this war, the fear, I'm hoping they see through it. Some people are not already in the spiritual community. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel so far. I'm sorry, let's pray for him, blah, blah, blah. And
I saw
all
that
I
too.
see is a Hollywood movie.
Yes, and that's exactly what I see too. And I was on with a whole bunch of guerrilla warfare kind of journalists today, and feet on the ground, generals coming forward and saying it's not what you think. It's not what they're showing you. Just like they were showing that game, they're showing a game, and they were trying to prove it, show it that it was actually real footage of what was going on over there. And the game system said, no, this is the game. And I actually was talking to one of my friends right before I got out with you, and he was believing, all this. I said, no.
The one video, I was in the military, but still, just common sense. The one video they show these buildings, and if you can look at, they're not bombs, they're just explosions that are going off, about 10 of them. They show from a distance and they get up close. And then when you see aftermath, there's like a couple vehicles blown up and the windows are blown out of the building. Those are not strikes. Those are detonations that are set on the street.
Yeah.
It's a show.
And what they showed one was actually the carnage of like the BLM and the Antifa shit from last year. And they go, look at this. They should go here, this and this. It's the same picture. And they're doing that everywhere. And they're showing that. And that's what I find is hilarious, is that they are actually doing that. Can you hold on 1 second? Okay, thanks. Okay. Just had to.
Anyways, I talked about that with a coworker, and then the coworker was like, but they're killing people. And I just looked at him and I walked away, because I'm like, I can't convince you otherwise if you think, I mean, and then how they know they're killing people, because they told him, You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's just like, okay. And I walked away because I just don't see it, you know. And
right. So that's where we need to say, okay, we know what's going on.
yeah, I
We
didn't
know the
argue.
theatrics. Yeah, it's just like, eh. And even, I just dropped a little seeds to my friend tonight, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go. I got my thing at 7, and it was like 2 minutes to, and I said, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. And it is, it's time running out of time. We removed the 40-minute time limit for your group meeting. Okay,
This
thank you.
meeting no longer has a time limit. Oh, your kids
Yeah,
must have done that.
yeah, he did. He saw it how he does it. But it is, it's what choosing what we wish to bring forth. Like, I want to look at what to create. I want to be in that flow of love and the energy that is within me, stepping into my flame of that creativity of my trueness of who I am, and bring that out with everything that I do and all this other stuff. I know what's going on. You got to educate yourselves, and not just do one source, but multiple sources. Research, research, research. That's the one thing I learned in college, was to research my ass off, and
Mhm.
she was big on that. And that's one thing I did learn. Thank you, Dr. Dawn. Is learning how to do that, and and even seeing the psychology behind all of this. Um,
Mhm.
this must have been why I went to school all those years, is to see through all the BS and to see.
But being a strong
Yes.
empath, I can, when I hear somebody talking and they're talking crap to me, I half the time I don't understand them, or I just hear bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We when we
So,
tune ourselves, then
mhm,
we feel it coming in that moment, and then the things, what happens is, what we do is we give people like 100 different chances, or we give them, you know um we know within that moment who they are. We do,
mhm.
but we just go, well, this, oh, well, that, and oh, they we see
See
all
the
their
best in them.
wounding, we see all this, we see the God in them. Yeah, we see the God in them, but we also have to trust.
Mhm.
Do we want to hang out with this person? Do we want to go into business with this person? Do we want to, um, you know, be in a relationship with this person? Do we want, that was what came up this weekend a lot for me too, was you knew Christine Mooney, but you still went forward into this because you believed what people would say, because you want to believe what people say, but you knew deep down in your gut what was going on. And you just chose to look this way because you want to believe that people are honest and true. And I still do. That's like one of my biggest things.
Look,
But I'm always going to do that. I'm always going to say, you know what? I am always going to trust you until you prove me otherwise.
well, true, but you had one of those universe. Are you still a dumbass? And yep, I'm
Yeah,
still a dumbass.
yeah, it's still a
Damn it.
dumbass. So, but there's things where now, like, okay, like I always say my piece, and sometimes that truth bomb people can't handle. And I ain't truth bomb my ass the same way. I do. I really have to come to major truth bombs with myself. And I do that with everybody. And like my friend said, it's like a nuclear bomb going off, Chris, the way that you just boom, it's a bomb. I go, well, it's truth. Why pussyfoot around it when it's actually truth? Why do that to ourselves? So it is. It's choosing to be that God spark, to be that truth, to always be in your truth, because there's so many times that
Mhm.
I didn't. And I I was always taught that, that I could be my true self because I wouldn't get the love. I wouldn't get love. I would. It was like a training on having to walk around on eggshells or feeling out what other people. It was like a defense mechanism, feeling out what people. They couldn't take me for me, and so I always had to hide.
Yeah.
And now,
I always
now
knew
I
how
just
to act because we could feel what they wanted and we could be that person.
yeah.
I don't do that I try not to do that anymore.
No. And life is too short for that. I've wasted a lot. Not wasted. I remembered who I was through that though. I had to go through that to remember who I was. And that was a wounding for my whole family. The whole family on both sides of the family. Codependence from way back. And emotional manipulation and abuse and the narcissism and such like that. I had to heal from all of that because it was inside of me. Because it's all in my family line. It's all mostly in all of our family lines by now. And we'll call the government. This is just a mirror, and all the medical and school and everything else is a
Everybody's
mirror.
codependent. Everything's
Yes,
codependent. I
everything.
can't even. That's why I stopped dating. It's been almost 10 months because you would think they would want a sovereign person. No, they don't know what to do with it. They
No,
want a
they're
codependent
scared.
relationship. They want a codependent relationship. I don't anymore.
Yeah,
So I had to
because
say I can't.
exactly. And that's what I do. I'm not diving into anything like that because it's they're not ready to hear or to see the truth about themselves. That you gotta feel this pain. You gotta feel what you did to that person. You have to come to face yourself and the wreckage that you did, that I did, that you did, that everybody has done. The wreckage that we were sitting there in the victim status or the narcissistic stance, because when you're a victim, you're narcissistic as well. And so people have to see, holy shit, that's where I was. And out there with the whole world that it is mirroring just that, because you ignored that out there. And all those narcissistic people just grew, and the power and control over everybody just grew. And that's a lot of people out of control. And it takes us to say, no. Simple no. I'm not going to participate in that. No, I'm going to take my attention away from that. No, I'm not going to sit there and do this or even feed into any of that. Even down to the I want to pray for peace. This has to happen. And for us to will our peace onto that is still no codependent. Because we're uncomfortable with what's going on. And we're trying to force that peace where that shit needs to boosh, and it needs to unravel, dismantle. And if you just paint the piece on it.
I've been saying for half a year to a year now, kick that tower over. Let's go, people.
I
Steal
know
all the crap so everybody can see it. Put the light in it, let it knock it over.
and the peace thing, it will be peaceful once the shit is seen. But if you don't want to see that crap, it's uncomfortable for you to look at that the war or the abuse of kids. I can't see that. I don't want to look at it. That's why we're here. It's because people aren't looking at it.
Yeah, that reminds me of my mother. She always put her head in the sand, like everything's fine. I don't see nothing.
I don't see nothing. I don't want to see
that's kind of what the world's doing still too.
And that's where I'm just like, no, we gotta blow this shit up.
Yes.
Because we gotta see what is underneath it all. Which is
shine the light, see all the dark nastiness. We do it. I do it on myself all the time. It's called shadow work. All that
because it is.
Look at it, deal with it. Hey, make friends with it. We're good.
Yeah. And even, I remember the darkest of beings that would show up just because of who I was with or what house I was in. I'm like, well, hello. I'm not, and they're like, basically, you're not scared of me anymore? No, because I made friends with my shadow, and I see your shadow standing right there. Hello, come have a seat, because I'm listening. Your person may not be listening, but I'm listening. And you can point out the shadows to people, but they don't want to see it. They just want to paint
Mhm.
over it. Peace and love. You can't see this because it's all peace and
Love and
love. Right?
light, love and light.
Yes. I mean, really, it's to the point where it's nauseating. And that's
Mhm.
where I've backed out a lot of groups. And they do have the beautiful hearts, but you gotta see the shit. You
Yeah.
gotta
I mean,
see the
like you
corruption.
say love a lot too, but there's a difference. I know that you also see the dark,
Yeah,
so there's a difference.
yeah. And they're like, well, you just can't. No, yeah, you can
Don't
see
look
the
at it.
dark.
It'll go
I,
away.
I'm like, no. I go, yeah, you haven't even seen half the crap that's out there, and
Oh.
you're gonna knock you ass over teacups, and you might not even want to still look at it, because I know there's a lot of people that I worked with, like clients, that didn't want to see the deeper parts. I'm like, well, I can only help you so far, is because you
Mhm.
won't look at the rest of it.
Mhm.
And I go,
Or there's a other aspect too, is they like they don't want to be healed, or they like that dark feeling depressed, so they'll fill it back up.
it's a victim thing where they
Yeah.
get the attention for it. They get
Yep.
it's like the trauma
It's,
response,
it's serving a
where
purpose for their life, so they hold it. They want it back.
it's that circle where I get the attention, I get the the healing
Mhm.
um from this, and it just perpetuates it where I won't go deeper because I
Mhm.
want you to take it away from me. And that's still not owning your shit.
Right.
And so I will be truthful and say, you gotta own your shit. You gotta, and that's where I like,
Yeah.
maybe
I've heard from people I've dealt with and other ones, is like, well, every time I get a healing or every time I get a reading, the same thing comes up. Because you're not dealing with your shit. Gonna be the
yeah,
same thing because it's the same thing you haven't dealt with.
yeah, it's just in a different face or a different
Mhm.
situation. And I'm still doing it with myself over and over again. Oh, I had this in between dream thing where you're almost awake, but you're not. And it
Mhm.
was like, I was supposed to share it tonight, so thank you. So I was laying there and we're walking up, all of us, it was like the whole tribe was just walking up this mountain. There's these big boulders and snakes and all this stuff that we had to clear out. We just kept making this little path. And then we just blink, boom, we're back at the end, at the bottom of the mountain again. So like, what the hell, we're just here. And so we're going through again, but there's a little path that is not as thorny. There's one less snake, but then there's things that jump out at you. And you're like, shit, what the hell? And we're going up that hill again. And so then boom, we blink and we're back down again. We keep going up. And every time we clear out a little bit more, that we can go up, and it's not as dense. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
going to be things that are, because you're like, okay, I know something's going to jump, right? Something that might jump out at me. I'll be prepared this time, and I'm going to look at it in a different way. And so it's kind of like this symbolism of going through the circle of working on ourselves and going up to that mountain of blissfulness and knowledge, and but then we blink and we're right back down here again to go up, back up
Yeah.
again. And we're
But it
just
gets
keep going.
faster to
And it gets
pinpoint, like,
faster,
yeah,
pinpoint. The path is much clearer the more that we do
right,
that. And
right.
so and I'm like, okay, I'll share that little vision, because it was like, okay, I have quite the wide path cleared, but there's still things that pop out, go, hey, remember me? Or
Mhm.
hey, look at this, or hey, here's something that you just put a band-aid on, and now it wants to be really looked at, taken care of. And here's something, and It just kept
Have you
showing that over
been
and over.
noticing that these events are popping up faster and faster and faster, and you can clear them a lot faster?
Yes, yes,
Like,
it's
time is really sped up.
sped up. Our time, we're jumping timelines like nobody's business.
That
There's gonna be-
too.
There's going to be more occurrences of the Mandela effect.
Oh yeah, that drives me
where-
nuts.
That drives me nuts. I did something the other day, a couple of times, and I'm like, where the hell did it go? You know, it doesn't even exist anymore. I'm like, I just put it right here, not even here anymore. And it's just like, okay, well, that's not needed. So it's not my reality anymore.
Yeah,
Same with
it makes me
people.
crazy. But I actually like it because I want it to go. Like I said, I want to kick that tower over and like it's going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
But
that's
it-
our
but it's-
intention.
But it's insane. Yeah, but I love it too. I can't
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, no, I do too, because I'm like, good, let's do this. I'm not afraid to look at it. Yeah, like, oh, here's another thing to be cleared. And here's some more shit being flowed. Like, okay, okay, okay. And it's like, oh, fuck, this is what it's all been about. Is you embrace it with that love, and it just goes boom, 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 boom. And it moves so quickly now. And it does, it clears so quickly because we welcome it with open arms instead of pushing it away and saying, oh, that's ugly. We don't want to look at that, or that's just too deep and we'll push that aside. No, just bring it. And we love it and that's what helps it transmute so much faster. And then we bring in the childlike, the playing, the singing, the dancing, the creating, and then we are that. And things will pop into our reality that we never thought of doing. Like I never thought of doing podcasts or speaking like this, never in a million years. I thought of, okay, I'll run a couple classes or I'll have some clients. Nope, we're gonna take everything and wipe it. Start over, kiddo. And I'm like, fuck, now what? And now it's just like, we're not gonna tell you. You're
You
gonna
don't even know if you don't even know if this podcast is gonna last long.
I know.
I think we're gonna be traveling from community to community real soon.
That's what I feel too. And it's just
Yeah.
like you're just gonna keep speaking.
I
And
keep looking for an RV and I have no money for an RV, but I keep looking for one.
right, one to
Go
pop
figure.
into our I know. And that's what it is. It's to be open to anything that comes down the pike and to be open to stuff that pops up and say, hey, look at this. Hey, what about this? Try this out. Try speaking to people and put it out there, and you just don't care. You don't care about if people see it or not because you're practicing speaking, because you're going to be going around speaking to people and trying to help them remediate the clusterfuck that happened. They're going to be feeling like they're going to be experiencing the dark night of the soul, and you've had 100 billion of them. So you'll be able to help help them through. Go, hey, I'm going to walk you through this passageway of going through the tunnel, and here's a bright light right here. That's where we're going. Just hold my hand. I've been through here. I'm a bridge walker, walking from one area to the next, one area to the next.
Peeling that onion.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like I'm doing. Is like, here, just take my hand, and this is
Another layer.
this is me practicing speaking. Because I don't know how long it's gonna last. And just practice speaking. Practice getting on there and speaking what you know about, which is Dark Night of the Soul, but also having fun and being silly and goofy and dancing and you're going through this massive transformation with your body. Talking about that and all the different technologies to all the different biologicals that are going to be coming online. You're privy to know this shit because you are taking this stuff and you're working on this stuff and you're helping your body. And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want this too. 'cause they
Nobody
don't.
understands my stuff because I went through I couldn't do the red meat for the longest.
Yeah.
Now I can do just barely any. And then it went to the dairy. And now I can just do a little bit of cheese. And people are like, well, why are you doing that? I'm like, it's not my choice.
No, your body chooses. Yeah,
My
we gotta
spirit and
listen.
my body are merging at the same time. And that's just what I'm going through.
Right, and there's times where it says have some meat because you need to ground or you're, it just, so I'm like, okay, and so I do, and then if I do, it's just a little bit, or here, let's just make some vegetarian pepper soup. And so I have tons of it now that I can freeze and have later. And it's, the prepping. The prepping is coming up big time now.
The what?
And prepping, more prepping.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
buying
yeah.
food and having water and
Candles.
candles and the Ides of March are coming. And it's just like, that just came into my head today. The Ides of March. I'm like, okay.
What's the Ides of March?
That's the 15th. It was a big, Caesar when the Ides of March come, and so that just popped into my head like shit's gonna be going down soon. And because of all these truckers, it's kind of like I saw the manipulation of the truckers and how the powers that be are going to make this whole blame the shortages and such
On the truckers.
And
They
it's
already
not.
are.
Yeah. And so they did it up in Canada, they're doing it here, and it's not. It's them having their containers sitting out in the middle of the ocean rotting.
It's
they're
just
not,
another control thing.
it is because that's how they control you, is your needs. And so that's why it's the preparing and just having 2 or 3 weeks of food to
Do you know what I
prepare.
bought last week, which is kind of crazy? And then my coworker's like, "You're just starting to sound like my dad, like doomsday prepper." And I'm like, "Not quite." But I bought 2 books from this herb shop. One is herbs that you can eat and you can find in the wilderness, and the other
Yes,
one is
good.
herbs for medical. And they're in book form because what happens if your phone and everything goes?
Right. And that's what I thought about too,
So
because
they're
I have
book
this
forms.
thing
Yeah,
on my phone about that.
but you can't. But think about it. You might not have your
Yes,
phone. So I've got
right,
2 books
exactly.
that I didn't have. And I've looked at them a little bit. They're pretty good. And then I also got, for some reason, a hammock. I don't know, whatever.
Well,
So
you
if I'm
never
out in the
know.
woods, I got a hammock now.
Yeah. And I found a
buy
turf.
candles, buy a hammock, and I'm just like, okay, fine.
Yeah. And it's just it's getting us used to also being off the grid. Because when these communities do pop up, there's gonna be electricity because they know how to do Tesla. There's going to be all the conveniences because really it comes with the awakened part of you, and but it's learning how to grow your own food. It's learning how to prepare your own food naturally and not buying it from like a grocery store. Like how I get this organic fruit trail mix from Wegmans, and I'm like, what in here can they actually grow? There's some flower seeds, there's cranberry, like dried cranberries and almonds and things like that. Like, start researching how to do that kind of stuff. But in the climate that we're in, that's not going to work. So
No.
it would have to be in this bio-domy kind of thing because you can control. They can, all the bullshit weather that's going on out there now won't be an issue. And it's going to be, I'm excited. I was crying when I heard about all this because I had that in here. Like I felt it in here, felt it in here. I've had visions of this place, and now it's actually coming to a reality. People are actually building these things, and I just was moved to tears because I'm like, this is everything that I felt was coming, but now it's actually happening. The med beds, the this and that, the
Mhm.
shit's actually coming out. The biological stuff that we could take to help bring our body back into, um, before we had shots, before we had the crappy food and water and the fluoride and all that other stuff. Before all that, when we were just born, I mean, we're born and we're born into shit, but to bring our body back to where it's supposed to be is such an exciting thing to stumble upon, and to know it's actually in the works, it's in the process, it's already here. They just have to
Go
manufacture
back
it.
to when we were living longer. Humans just live
Yeah,
like 300 years.
yeah. And that's
Now,
where exactly it is, bringing us back to that point where we, even before Atlantis, it was, it's bringing us back to who we really are. And this is what this whole process is about, and why we're shedding all these skins, and why we're going through all 5 gazillion things of dark night of the soul, and layers and layers of ancestral bullshit. And we're just to step into something that just is us. It's just us. And our cells are going to be brought back, and we won't have that old cellular shit from our ancestors.
that'd be nice. I still got a lot of ancestral work to do, but
It comes up naturally now because we're on
yeah,
that process. And so it's just stepping into the flame of who we are. It comes up quickly and it goes quickly. Boom, 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 boom. And the more that we're in that flame of who we are, it happens naturally. We don't have to go digging for it anymore. We're beyond digging. Just don't dig. Because that just, then you get in that perpetual cycle of, ooh, I gotta, the old spiritual paradigm, or I gotta dig constantly, make myself better. No, you just be you, and you do right by your soul. You step into who you are, be a good fucking person, and then things will come up naturally for you to heal, and you won't have to go and dig through this crap anymore.
that's
And
true.
they,
I haven't been digging anymore.
yeah,
It's just been
you don't have to dig.
that's true.
It
It's
just
true. You
comes
got a
up
point.
now, because the
I
old
just
spiritual
want,
paradigm, we'd had to dig. What?
I just wanted to say it's 8:10.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. Yeah, it's time to go. But thank you for joining me on this discussion tonight. And I'm going to publish this probably on all the platforms. But now that we know that we can go longer on this, that's kind of cool.
that'll work.
And it'll work. And
You can get more people to come in too if you want
yeah,
to.
yeah. And it'll be neat to see who all comes in. So yeah, cool. So thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank
All
you, thank
right.
you.
Have a good
And
week.
you too. And I'll be in touch this week about that the Roots brand, and I want to do a little
Okay.
talk about that, because I'll watch my little video again to educate myself, and then I'll come on and talk about it. And yeah, it's done phenomenal things for my polyps. It really has. And where it was just a mess, but now it's starting to clear up, and I'm also stepping into my flame more. So
What
this
about
is,
cysts? It work for cysts?
yes, it works for everything.
I get them
It,
cysts all through my body all the time. They pop up.
yep. And so that's what a lot of things are gonna, especially that stuff I talked about with the 5 under the tongue of both twice a day. That's gonna take care of everything.
Ooh.
It's just, so I can't wait. I mean, it's gonna ADHD to high blood pressure to you have a wart or whatever the case may be. It's gonna take care of everything. That's what I'm excited about, is all this stuff is coming up. And that Trinity Biometis, uh, Biometis is that little cell phone looking thing, and that was brought to my attention too. So there's so many things
Love
out
you,
there,
Mom.
love you too, that they're doing to help the body. And it's just, we're getting past all of the bull crap to get it out there. So I'll be in touch about that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.